sniffling on Corden.
Yes, sir. Back up in this bitch. But and where are my manners? I even really asked, how the fuck are you, sir?
I'm all right. I'm still here. That's about the most I can say right now.
That's what's up, man. Productive day and shit. I know you be working hard and shit, and you know what I mean, long hours
Working
and 10
hard.
hours.
Working hard.
Hey man, if you gotta be out of the house for 10 plus hours just to be out of the house, fucking in any occupational setting, it's some stuff that not a lot of people want to do, right? But we got to do, right?
Unfortunately.
So that's why you got to ask regardless, like, and even if it's just a simple, hey man, I'm here, like, and we don't really got to elaborate more. As long as you're feeling okay, that's what matters, G. That's what matters. But yeah, bro, I'm out here tripping and shit.
You rode the train from Ottawa to Toronto back? That's what was? The Via
yeah,
Rail?
bro. Yeah, the Via Rail. Yeah, bro. It was one of those things where the trip there, that was what it was, like. But during this whole COVID time, man, like, for example, if you go on the train and you're fortunate enough to be spaced out with people, like, then it's dope as hell. Because at least you know you can just relax, trip out, stretch your feet out, you know what I mean? Put your bag and everything on the seat right next to you, whatever. But on the way back, bro, yo, I'm out here sitting beside this woman and shit. It was what it was. But I decided to try to catch a little nap or whatever. So I'm doing my thing. I lean back or whatever. I got my little nap or whatever. When I wake up, bro, this lady's taking a nap too and shit. Tell me how her head is on my shoulder and shit. I'm like, what the fuck? Bro, I'm like, there's COVID. I don't know you and shit. You
Even if it wasn't COVID, what the fuck?
Yo, I was like, yo. But what got me upset was I know I fell asleep first. So she must have fell asleep, and like the audacity of this lady to lean on my shoulder and shit, and just when I wake up, like, I'm like, bitch, what the hell? I'm like kind of shocked or whatever. And she, oh, I'm so sorry, man. And like she was a bit older, so like it's not like I was trying to get aggressive or angry or anything, but it just, bruh, it threw me the fuck off because I'm like, one, you can get me sick than a bitch. I can get you sick than a bitch, even though technically we're both vaccinated and all that shit to get on the train. But we don't know each other, miss. And your head is on my shoulder, and she got the mask on, I got the mask on, but who knows how long, because I was out for like maybe an hour or so. Who knows how long we were fucking breathing each other's air in, just to be breathing each other's air in. Now I got this little scratch in my throat and shit. I'm just like, yo, tell me she might have got me sick, bro. Just the fact of breathing in foreign airs for, let's just say, 45 minutes plus. I was like, yo. Trent.
That's wild, man. Too close for comfort, literally.
I was gonna say, I don't know if have you ever had like an experience similar to that, where whether you at like a friend's house or something, y'all watching a movie on the couch, somebody passes out on you, doesn't say shit or anything like that?
I can honestly say no. The only thing that comes close to that is the fucking cat. She'll like pass out, like she senses when I'm about to like get up and start doing things, or if she knows I'm like about to get up and like leave, she'll just pass out right on me. It's just like any other time. But no, right now when I'm just trying to, yeah, that's about it recently. But no, especially on like buses and shit, like public transit, people like I said, I have a resting psycho face. People steer clear of me on most things. I don't know how else to put it. That's how it works.
A resting psycho face is outrageous. That's a t-shirt. That's literally a t-shirt. Like, but yo, man. Oh, wait. Oh, there you go. Even just like
this
that.
Is the shirt.
A wooden spoon survivor. Bro, that shirt is funny as shit because it's so real. You got that ass slapped by your parents. Well, some of us got our asses slapped. Disciplinary situations. But yeah, bro, I just wanted to like bring that up and just ask you, because I'm like, the fact that a lot of people in these cities, and I don't know if you have like a lot of like transit or whatever, like, or how the transit system like works, like, but like in Owen Sound, but it's like, yeah, man, you could be going home late as shit and somebody else is going home late as shit on the bus or whatever, and you sitting next to each other and you find yourself like fucking leaning on the person. It's outrageous. It's fucking
That
outrageous.
is our transit system is so fucked up here in this town. Like it's a contentious issue at the very moment, honestly, in this town.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. It only runs till 6 p.m. The routes don't really go everywhere in town. It runs like every hour and half hour. That's when the bus comes back around, sort of thing. Um, they're honestly in the process of talking about like getting rid of it altogether, just because it's costing too much money and they don't want to put more money into it to like fix it, do like the actual right things. It's a whole thing. I could literally make a whole video just on like how they need to fix this thing, and it's ridiculous. Like it's simple shit, and it's not even like their big city buses too. They're like the short buses. You know what I mean?
Wow.
And they're even disrepaired too, and it's ridiculous. But what are you gonna do? Other than a lot of people are really raising hell about this, myself included. But like, it's just ridiculous. Like, it's nothing. You can't even compare it to like even like the one in Waterloo that we fucked around on. Can't even compare it to that, because those ones at least ran to like 11, 12 o'clock at night, and they went and they got you to wherever you needed to go. You didn't have to have a car in that city. You could literally ride the bus everywhere. I didn't like still have not bought a car to this day. The entire time I was living in Kitchener, working, going to school, whatever, bus got me everywhere I needed to go.
Yeah, man. And see, that's the thing that's fucked up about public transit, because yes, it's funded by the city, and it sucks that if they just feel like, no, it's not making us enough money, so we can axe the program or we can axe that service.
Well,
It's
around
like,
here they can get away. Well, they're trying to get away with it, but like you
yeah,
can't do that. If you try to pull that shit in Toronto, good fucking luck. You know what I
not,
mean?
yeah, you're gonna have so many angry people. It's not even like just the fact there's so many angry people. It's so many angry people with like who actually attend these like city council meetings, and it's like they'll make sure motherfuckers won't get elected, bro. Like whoever like whoever like for example, we have like a mayor who he's doing his thing or whatever, but then as you know, like the premier of like all of Ontario and shit, like a lot of people are not really unfortunately not really fucking with him because he out here wilding and
Because he fucked it up, everything.
but that's the thing, bro. It sucks because it's like it's one person, right? And he has people who like collaborate with him on certain decisions, but if he's the one who has the final say on said decisions because we gave him that power to do so, we kind of can't really say shit until other than getting him out of there. Like whatever way that means, just voting someone new in, whatever, like however we have to, like how we did with the previous one. Everyone was like, oh, we don't like her, blah, blah, blah. And then we got her out of there, right?
My question is to this is have been posing this to everyone. What would the backlash be like if Wynn was still in charge right now, running this whole situation? That's all I have. That's the only question I have to pose to people. You just can think of that one on your own time. Like that's just something I consistently have been thinking about these last 2 years. It's just like, huh. Now what if, you know what I mean? Just like it would have been like the backlash would have been like 20-fold than what it is right now. It's ridiculous.
And that's the thing that sucks about it, because even though we may have had someone who we felt was like, or who majority of people felt like was worse than Doug Ford in that regard. I was trying not to use his name, but it is what it is. But but it's more just saying like, because again, I'm kind of indifferent to the scenario, meaning I see the crappy things that are happening, but at the same time, there are certain things that I might not be seeing that he may be doing that's benefiting people or whatever. So it's like, yes, I can sit here and try to shit on him, but at the same time, it's like, well, he did also, like, unfortunately, after putting certain things in place, he did go back and say, you know what, we're not going to keep these things in place to try to maybe free up some of the bullshit that he may have caused with his initial decision. Though that might not be the best move in some people's eyes, at least he kind of sort of acknowledged that he made a mistake, or heard the people's cries of saying, yo, why are you shutting everything down? So he's just like, or like, just it's like he's constantly playing, having to try to play both sides because you can't please everybody in a position like that, right? And
The
I would,
art politics 101, literally first day I was in it. It's the art of the middle ground. It's the art of the compromise. And there hasn't been any compromise so far. It's fuck the small businesses. The big businesses can stay open and make record profits these last 2 years.
yeah,
And the pushback comes to it gets diverted. Basically, we get to have conversations about vaccines and mask mandates and shit and
yeah.
restrictions of what's open and what's closed. Meanwhile, big business still runs like nothing, and they're the ones dictating the policy right now. That's the issue I have with it right now,
And
and
that's
it's much, much, much more out in the open with this government than it has been. Well, it was probably just the same in the last government, but just not as open about it. You know what I mean? Or it's not as unabashedly like, this is what we're doing, and this is what you guys are going to be talking about here. Talk about this.
but that's the thing too. It's like because yes, big business in combination with the media, in combination with like if the government, big business, and the media are all more or less working in conjunction, like we can't really like us as quote unquote the working man or the little person or whatever might not have as much power for by ourselves and individuals, but we all stay individuals because we choose to argue on certain topics that they force us to argue about. Like, and that's the shitty part about it. So I don't, that's why it's like I'm kind of indifferent to being super judgmental against certain politicians, even though they might be like, oh, he's doing terrible things by cutting these funds from the government and reallocating them to a place that we don't really need them to go to. But at the same time, it's like we got to make sure that we're being like we're holding like we got to be accountable the next vote, like the next like voting period, like and make sure okay if we do not fuck with him, we got to get him up out of here. Otherwise, it's like we can't keep complaining and keep keeping this guy in power. That's like something's got to give on the side. You know what I mean? Like if we don't really rock with him, let's get him the fuck out of here and someone new. Versus bitching and complaining. Granted, if we have some control, we got to use that control, bro. We can't just do all lip service and talk about it, right?
Unfortunately, that seems to be the Canadian way.
And that's the thing. It's like, but even because we don't have certain, there are certain things in place that do keep us from truly revolting, but eventually, bro, like if it got to a point of like if there was really like a true like occupier or a true like martial law or whatever, like where it's like it's real and everybody's genuinely imprisoned or feel or they're trying to put things in place for us to genuinely be in prison, a revolt is going to happen, bro. People are going to find their way to some, whether it's firepower or whatever the case is. Not saying they're going to be comparable to any like Canadian Guard or Canadian military or whatever, but at the same time, it's like people will fuck around and whether they die in the process, they're going to fight for their quote unquote freedom. Granted, it got to that point, but we still have that illusion of freedom where it's like, well, even though they're saying you can't go outside for the next 2 weeks or whatever, like, or they're starting 2 weeks of January or whatever, it's still, we still can go out and do it, or we still can have 5 people, or we still can, you know what I mean? Like they still like count those little wins as something to not really want to revolt against or whatever, because it's like he's still giving us some freedom, but let it turn into a situation where no, you can't do shit. Everybody stay home, like right when it just started, the pandemic just started. Nah, bro, people are not gonna have it. People are gonna be out there driving with their cars and shit, like revolting in a real way. Not maybe not storming fucking parliament like they did in the US, but you know what I mean? Shit was wild, right?
Dude, that was literally a year ago. What was that? Friday?
Thursday.
Dude,
Yeah.
that was fucking nuts. Like I'm sitting with Alex in my living room. I just taken a whack load of edibles and like
Yeah.
they're starting to hit. My brother messaged me, said, I'm gonna watch the Civil War round 2 in America. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? And I just flip on Twitter and I was like, oh my God. And like immediately bring up like the live stream, just shit happening. Alex and I and our friend Grace, who showed up later, we were all just sitting there just like, like with agape, and then furious, and then just absolutely furious afterwards because you're just like, this is fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
These white motherfuckers get in this place and the cops let them in. What if this is Black Lives Matter? They would have got
Yeah.
shot 5 fucking, like, we were
Yeah.
furious at that point. Like after it all set in, like this really just happened.
I think about it like because we could say privilege or whatever the case is, and that's true, but it's like more just the audacity, like to say, yo, I'm gonna storm
That's the
this.
perfect word for that.
Yeah, like I'm gonna storm this motherfucker with face paints and American flags on my shoulders and random Viking helmets and shit like that, and I'm breaking windows and shit like that to get into the place, even though the guards that are in the place are opening the doors for me. What the fuck? Like, it was just a strange process because you're saying to yourself, this can't be real. But then it's happening. So you're like, it has to be real. Like, is this staged?
They were live streaming it like from a bunch of different angles.
The news is on the outskirts, like
not even just the news, like the fucking actual, like the people involved in the insurrection.
Yeah.
They're all like on fucking Instagram and Twitter going, woo, look at us doing all this shit. Like, couldn't have just like self-reported any harder, but like, man, like it's honestly crazy. Just thinking back on it, it's just like, this is insane. Like, what the fuck?
Man. And as we're like just like kind of taking a stroll down the memory lane, and then when you see like the repercussions where motherfuckers get put on like the no-fly list and all those types of things, and people start getting fired from their jobs and shit.
Oh my god,
I didn't mean to do this, and I didn't mean to do that.
Best videos. Those were the. Like, I hate to be sour grapes and all that, but like that is literally a case of fuck around and find out. You fucked around, and now you're finding out. You literally went and pissed off the government, and this is the repercussions. Consider yourself lucky. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, man, because it's like,
if you were a brown guy from Afghanistan, would you have gotten the same even leniency that they got?
Bro,
that's all I have to say.
They would have did all types of torture to that poor person, and
it'd still be in Guantanamo.
Yeah, bro, that's the scary part about it. And then you have a. It's just it's wild to think about people doing these types of things and not like, I had to use the word audacity because it's like it's like you're not fathoming the fact that any repercussion can happen to you after said event. And you're saying to yourself, you have to be a different type of, like, you have to be viewing the world very different than everybody else in society to be like, yeah, let's go storm the government. Like, granted, anybody was there. Well, there are a few people there, but because they were saying that they were going to go to that place, and if such and such is in his office, we're going to kill him. How are you going to say that type of stuff in like,
and not expect something to happen?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
I blame this. It gives people too much of a comfort with talking shit, especially to people online.
Trent, I am so glad that you just said that, because I was talking to a buddy earlier, and it was like, and then somebody else reiterated it on a podcast I heard, and I was saying, like, even us, like, as we speak our thoughts and speak our minds and things like that, it's like you almost do have to have like a little warning at the start of the video or start of the podcast or whatever, because you're saying to yourself, yes, I might talk shit, but I still have to let motherfuckers know I don't know all the facts. My word is not law. It's just my opinion. But people will still like talk shit and this person doesn't know what they're doing, and how the fuck did he get a job, or how the fuck did she get her job? But then you're saying to yourself, like, okay, but I'm just some guy kind of just talking shit, like, or just trying to give gems from my point of view. And so so it's funny that you said that, because like me and my buddy were literally talking, the buddy I went to visit in Ottawa, we were literally talking about that shit earlier. And it's like, people just talk shit, and that's okay. But when they try to validate their claims by saying, well, I have a podcast, technically anybody can do this. Like, that's why you kind of have to give and take when it comes to like your opinion and shit, because it's just that at the end of the day, you know?
Exactly. And it mostly, like, when I was speaking, I was mostly like targeted shit like that. Like, there's been especially in the communities that I frequent, there's way too much of that. Like, Christ's sakes, we had somebody kill themselves like a couple of years ago because it's like this targeted harassment. And literally it was good for like 2-3 days and back into this bullshit again. It was just like, this is ridiculous. Like, we learned fucking nothing, like absolutely nothing from this. And here we are again. It's ridiculous. And it's because like it's the disconnect between I can say something, I can type something on my phone, it'll
Yeah.
go to somebody, they can see it and respond to it, but I don't have to see them physically. I could get banned from the platform, whatever else, but I don't have to see that person physically. I don't have to see how they deal with what I've said to them, even though it's just a tweet, it's just some words on a phone, blah, blah, blah. I don't see what the repercussions of what my words or thoughts have made on other people.
Yeah, bro, and
that's the difference.
And it sucks because we don't understand that it does lead the ripple effect that your tweet has. We genuinely, it's funny, yeah, because we genuinely don't understand the ripple it has, the ripple effect it has. And it's wild to think about that because like say, like just as an example, I don't actually dislike Justin Bieber, but it's like if you're like, man, fuck Justin Bieber or whatever, right? He sees it and he's just like, damn, what did I do to homie? Nah. And you didn't do nothing to me personally. It's just I might not like your music, or I might not like the way you dance, or whatever the case. And it's like everyone has their quote unquote opinion, and just because we have one, we feel like it's validated just because it's coming from us, which sounds goofy because you're saying, yeah, that's literally how it works. But it's like, nah, fuck that. What validates you? What gives you, like, who are you, so to speak? Like, who are you to make said claims? Now, if you're trying to approach something from a objective standpoint, I did some research. I'm just trying to look at it from both sides, blah, 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 blah. And you're trying to reason it out with your audience. Cool. You know what I mean? At least you're trying to do some like journalistic like research or whatever, or have some journalistic integrity. But most times it's just people chilling out, fucking talking shit with the homies. You know what I mean? And that's cool, but we got to remember that sometimes it's just that, and we can't be out here trying to. Because if someone was talking shit about you, Trent, or talking shit about me just because we have a podcast, yeah, we might be like, fuck that, I don't care. But the reality is, there's no reason for it to be happening, or we shouldn't have to have it happen. You know what I mean? Like, like that's just somebody else kind of from afar talking shit at the end of the day.
Exactly.
But it still can affect you, is all I'm saying.
It's really when it comes down to like, we all have our freedom of speech, but we, just because we have that freedom of speech doesn't mean like we have freedom from accountability of our freedom of speech. Like, sure, I can say like all this stuff and all that. I can say what I want, but my words to whoever hears it and their reaction to my words is two different fucking things. You learn that if you grew up in a rough town like this, you'll learn that real quick, that your words have consequences. Like, talk shit, get hit. That's a saying for a reason. Like, I'm from the old school that way. We learned our P's and Q's because you got it beat into you.
Yeah, man.
This is a different generation where everything is now like, I'm sounding like a boomer, holy fuck. But like, it's just different now where there's not as much of that. Like, there is no accountability for that, as far as like, other than like getting canceled or like losing or getting deplatformed or stuff like that. That's the biggest like check to that free speech you get, or getting like people just dogpiling you and like telling you like, hey, you're like all that. That's about it. But in the fact of like a real world repercussions of like your words and stuff like that, that's a very, very rare thing these days, outside of what I just mentioned.
Yeah, man. The consequences, like you getting like, you being struck in the face for talking shit, that there is like, because you're going to get, especially if you have a little bit of notoriety or a little bit of money or affluence, your ass is getting sued after you punch that person. And so that's why a lot of these repercussions kind of are like, you don't see those repercussions happening because the people, unfortunately, I mean, don't get me wrong, in certain rare cases, you do see the person get confronted, beat up, or even worse, unfortunately, sometimes for certain things they may have said or certain actions they may have committed. But yeah, majority of the time, people understand, I got all kinds of money. So I kind of sort of have to just let you talk that talk, unless I'm actually willing to, whether it's go to jail or whatever for you know what I mean? Applying my own discipline to you. I'm gonna go to jail for that. So I have to fucking fall back. Or sometimes if you have that, and wild as it is, bro, if you have that much notoriety, sometimes a person who you don't really even know, but they like you, like, oh, I like Drake so much. So when say you see somebody talking shit about Drake, now you fuck that person up. And Drake doesn't even know you, but on behalf of Drake, more or less, you fuck that person up. And then it's like, you know what I mean? Drake affiliate harms local such and such. You know what I mean? That's the news headline. And it's like, but he's getting carried to jail in the handcuffs. I did it for Drake, man. I did it for Drake. And it's like, Drake doesn't even know this guy. You know what I mean? Like, but that's the type of bullshit that can happen too. So if you get to that type of like stardom, so it's like, if you're a Drake or somebody up there, like you don't even want that type of like, even though people are talking shit about you, you don't even want to have like any repercussions, because only bad can come from that, unfortunately. Still doesn't mean that motherfucker shouldn't be reprimanded or get their ass whooped or whatever the case is. You got to understand accountability is everything, bro. Especially if you have a platform like ours or whatever, right?
I was always told if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything.
Exactly.
Like, it's silly and as cliche as it is, it works really well in a lot of situations. Like,
Yeah,
it saved me from having to beat the dog shit out of a lot of people in recent years. So like, yeah.
That's what it is, bro. But it can save you from having to inflict violence, but it also can save somebody from inflicting violence on us. Because
Facts.
if you know that, because we don't think about it like it might be somebody smaller than you or whatever the case is, but it could come from a different array of ways. Like you might not know that the Starbucks that you frequent, his girlfriend works there. And next thing you know, she puts something in your coffee or whatever the case is. Yeah, just some bullshit. Like sometimes we don't know who's connected to who is what I'm saying.
Oh, fuck, in this town, everyone's connected to everyone. That's the hard part.
And that's the thing that's shitty, because if you're out here just talking shit about James or talking shit about Dave or whatever, and you don't know that Dave's connected to Rick and Rick fucks you up, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just saying, like, the cycle, you know?
To quote Letterkenny, bad gas travels fast in a small town. And it's fucking true. Like, holy.
Yo, that show is something else. And it's like, I only see clips of the show. I haven't really seen a full episode, but it's just funny as fuck when you see like certain like how they move and how they maneuver in that town, you know?
It's literally like, well, the guy who like created it grew up in Listowel, which is literally between here and almost between here and Waterloo sort of area.
Okay.
So when they talk about the degens from up country, that's literally this area.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But that's it. We've just kind of embraced it now. We're the degens from up country, but literally it depicts life in a small town, like especially in southwestern Ontario, to like a fucking T. Like T.
It's literally just drinking like hella beer, drinking out in people's like on people's lawns and things like that. There's like one or two rinks in the city, so it's hella hockey being played. Like, yeah, I get it, bro. Like, especially because like the same buddy who I went to visit in Ottawa, like, well, he's my brother at the end of the day, but I'm saying from a standpoint of like, because he was a hockey kid, so like, and I was like playing basketball and shit, so like I'd go to hockey games and shit, he'd check out basketball games and shit, but you see the different like you see the culture of that, like that culture, and it's funny as shit because you're like, it's just drinking brews and just late night shinny and different shit like that, and it's just funny because like I didn't even play hockey like that, but it's like I'm still in the mix playing and shit, but it's funny. But yeah, man, the different cultures, it's beautiful to see how it morphs kind of throughout. Like you can be in a city like a town like yours, I should say, and then I can be in a city like mine, and there's still similarities and shit. Like that's what's so dope about it, especially if it surrounds like hockey, beer drinking, and women. Unfortunately, you've seen the fucking shows and shit. But yeah, bro, it kind of leads to my next shit though. We talking about government and all types of other shit, but this man here, Mr. Elon Musk, he out here tripping, bro. This man, I don't know. I feel like he might be operating above the government. Like the government doesn't even phase this motherfucker.
Probably.
With the type of shit he be doing and the type of money you have in the type, like if you have that amount of billions of dollars, you tripping at that point. But he created or is in development / the creating phases of like a Neuralink. And earlier this week, bro, I saw a video of a monkey with two of those Neuralinks in the sides of each side of his temple. and he was controlling a video game, bro, like via, like at first they had him using the joystick to like, it's like, let's just say it's a ball, or like a little ball in the middle of the screen, and little sections of the screen will be highlighted, and he'll move the ball to each of those sections that get highlighted. He's using a joystick. Now, about 2 or 3 minutes into the video, they disconnect the joystick, and I mean, like the cord from the joystick. So he's still using the joystick, thinking he's moving the ball with the joystick, but he's using the neural links in his brain, or the neurons, in his brain, like to control the ball that's moving. But his little hand is moving with the joystick, and he's thinking he's using, bro, it tripped me out. Then eventually they removed the joystick from the wall altogether. So he's just sitting there watching the screen, moving the ball with the neural links in his brain or whatever. And it just got me thinking, like, we're moving a lot faster in that regard to reach his end goal of having humans being linked with AI. And not a lot of people, I don't think, are even seeing / talking about it, because it's like, my man he's secretly on some, like Bruce Wayne, Tony Stark, you know what I mean? He's on some just strangely creative, but kind of scary at the same time, like motive. Like, what are your thoughts on that, though?
I look at him more like a Lex Luthor type of character. Like, he's a straight up supervillain. Him and
Okay.
Jeff Bezos, oh, those guys are fucking villains. Like, just the shit they come out with, like, honestly. But yeah, I heard talk about that, and it just freaks me out and just makes me laugh that some people just think that there's like a tracking chip in the COVID vaccine. Just to think about just that concept, and then there's this guy doing like literal like mind implants with people, and oh yes, this is completely normal. But that no. It just mind boggles me that these two like dichotomies are happening at the exact same time in human history.
But that's the thing too, because it's wild, because the word quote unquote conspiracy theorists or whatever gets thrown around when you start speaking about things like that, like chips being implanted into you or whatever the case is. But at the same time, it's wild because these things do exist, not in the sense of coming in a vaccine form, but the chip itself, to like they've had like a few years of the chip being available to put into like a baby's foot, so that you can, like, there's that option, as wild as it might sound, in certain places to have a chip put in like a baby's foot. So
we do it with dogs these days. They microchip dogs so they know where they are, so they don't run away.
But same concept. So it's like, not to say from in a vaccine form, but that idea is not so far-fetched, is all I'm saying, as far as like people being implanted, maybe not from the vaccine or whatever, but just by their own means or by their own choice, people being like, these things are happening. So that's why I can see how people kind of conflate the two. And it's in the vaccine. It's like, it might not be in the vaccine, but these things are happening, the chip planting. But on the Elon Musk side of the game, you're right. Depending on your perspective, he can be a Lex Luthor versus a Tony Stark, because one might look like one's doing things for good and one's like, I know we're talking about fucking fictional characters, but we got to be able to like compare and contrast, because in art, there's a lot of reality. So when you see the Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos type character, I would say Jeff Bezos more because of how he looks is more of a Lex Luthor with the bald head, with the evil grin, with the, you know what I mean? But at the same time, like, I'm making a joke, but yeah, man, like, there is 100% that possibility that only negative things can come from this, because the Neuralink, like, for you to have something implanted in your brain, they could just, I feel like they could just shut your shit down. Like, they, at that point, they can just press a button, that shit zaps your brain, you out of here. So that's why it's like, but that kind of is with any company that has some type of electronic devices, like, and it's not about trying to shit on companies, but it's like any, for example, like wireless headphones, for example, the ones that are super fancy that when you take one of them out, the other one stops playing the music or whatever the case is. It's like, how are those things communicating if not through each other and then right through the brain? Like, how else are those wave frequencies being sent? Like, it's like basically law of thermodynamics. If you're gonna have energy being transferred from one, like basically the energy that's being transferred from the headphone, or that's powering the headphone, is emitting energy that's not being used, basically waste energy from it. That waste energy is literally spreading into your brain. Like it's like there's no other way around that. Like so basically what I'm saying is anytime you wear any headphone that has no wires, that's why they say the wire headphones, like the ones you're wearing, are the best ones, because they're actually being connected to like the way how that energy is distributed. It's not it's hard to explain. It's like it's not giving that excess energy because like the right amount is being like used, so to speak. It's weird. I don't know how to explain it exactly, but people listening can kind of get the gist. Basically, I'm saying the Neuralink, that energy that's being emitted through those two little metal implants, nothing good is coming from that, at least long term. Nothing good can come from that. There's no way that Elon Musk can control the way how that energy is being emitted. It might be, it's basically recording how your brain electricity works, which is why the monkey was allowed to, or not allowed, but able to move the ball, is because he was doing it for a while, and those electric waves were being recorded. So when they removed that shit from the wall, and he was basically only using the electric waves of his brain, what was recorded before kind of gives a synapses to like to the Neuralink, which allows it to then just basically, it has like a memory, just like basically the self-driving cars that Tesla makes. It has memory of the routes. Like one person drove a Tesla, did mad different routes with that one Tesla, and then they could put that basically information into every Tesla, which allows every Tesla to now have that self-driving capability. So it's the same thing with the Neuralink. The monkey had it on, used a joystick, it recorded. So when they remove the joystick, the Neuralinks are now autonomous. They work on their own. Shit is scary, bro. It's fucking, so it is kind of Lex Luthor, but at the same time, it's like, this is some interesting shit I saw in the video, and I was like, yo, let me bring it to Trent, we'll see what his thoughts are, because fuck, man.
Just because we could doesn't mean we should.
Yes. Yeah, real shit.
And that should have been a lot of things, but here we are.
Trent, I feel like in the reference of the term, I feel like we as humans want to play God in that regard. Like we always want to try to control the scenario, but it's like some things are not meant to be controlled. Like the people who are trying to de-age us, like make us age backwards, things like that. It's like, bro, if we're naturally supposed to grow old and perish, but we want to try to put different types of, whether it's organs or whatever, like stem cells, whatever, to try to de-age ourselves, it's like we're trying to play God again, just for use of reference, because I know not everyone is in that realm of belief, but I'm saying that just that term, like us trying to control reality and different things like that is scary as fuck to me, because it's like, who's to say it will ever, or where the parameter is to stop? Like you might always go to the point where you're like what happens if Elon Musk has the first successful Neuralink and somehow he can control everybody's minds and shit? Like who knows what the future holds with this type of shit, right?
It's some, like you said, it's a scary concept and it's a scary technology. The fact that we're even going to this, like, there's so much more you can put that energy and like research and money and development into. But
yes, like turning
good old Elon Musk, just
like turning
good old solutions for problems we don't need.
Yes, exactly. I think the cause was I mean, it doesn't really matter the cause, but it's like him trying, like more or less justifying by saying, hey man, at the end of the day, these AI are gonna control us one day. But with a Neuralink or something like that, something to at least help assist level the playing field. Which, I mean, you see movies like Terminator and shit like that, bro. And even though you can be like, yeah, it's just a movie, but fucked up as it is, you and I both know some of these movies turn into reality, bro. And that's the scary fucking fact about it. Because when you see certain movies and it's like, oh, this is just a movie, then it comes 2-3 years later, the exact same situation happens in reality. It's like, bro, who is who? What's imitating what? I should say. You know what I mean? Is art imitating life, or is life imitating art? Like, what are we doing now?
Yes.
Yeah, but it's kind of scary when those revelations.
It goes both ways, and it's fucked up how it works that way. Like, yeah. Terminator was the best example of that.
Real talk, bro. But yeah, man, it's dope to think that us as humans, like eventually, I was joking with my buddy, eventually we're gonna be on Star Wars, bro. When they put your body in like one of those white like MRI looking machines, and it just heals everything wrong with you type shit. Eventually, we might fuck around and get to that Star Wars type shit, and then
I want the Dragon Ball Z healing thing where they put you in the healing chamber and they fill it up with water and you sit there and float. I want one of those.
bro. On that, yeah, but that's that type of. But it's not exactly like that. But those hyperbolic chambers are kind of sort of what is kind of supposed to be. Like you go into those like LeBron James, Michael Jackson type fucking, you know what I mean, where they lay in the fucking tube, the thing of water, and only their face is above the water level. Basically like simulating the fact of having the Goku breathing apparatus. It's the same concept. Using pure oxygen and pure water to heal the body faster type shit. Like it's funny that you brought that up because that shit is kind of already here, but it's just not to that effectiveness of the fucking Goku one. But shit is real, bro. And then it makes you smile, but at the same time it makes you kind of worry because you're like, what the fuck? Like all these supervillains, Matrix and all these Sentinels and shit like that. What happens if them shit start, them metal octopuses looking things? What happens if them bitches is flying around the sky and we have to look up and see them shit? It's gonna be a scary day. I'll tell you that much. It's gonna be a scary day.
Every time I see stuff like that, I'll always see like the one that I always keep coming back is the chimp with the stick knocking down the drone. Like as much as I see like technology going far and far beyond, I see nature and all that going, oh, sort of thing.
Yeah, no, so, real shit, nature.
That gives me seeing like the technology is like, oh, that's interesting, and then it's just like, oh, no. But then seeing nature kind of like, fuck your shit, kind of just gives me hope again. It's fun. It's like the end of the War of the Worlds where all those aliens were fucking up everything, but it was the disease that killed them in the end. Like our natural, like our planet killed our organic matter inside their machines that killed the machines in that book, movie, adaptation, whatever.
Yeah. No, that's just real though. It's like Mother Nature will have the Earth will have a way of resetting itself because we're not the first civilization, right? And even with that being said, we can sit there and history and this, that, and the third, and there were Neanderthals and stuff like that. But what happens if there were extremely advanced scenarios before us? Like basically like Star Wars type motherfuckers, but before us, and all that shit got wiped out. And if anyhow there was a remnant of the technology or whatever that was found, like artifacts or fossils or however we want to look at it now in our present way of viewing these things, they're just little pieces of the fact that there were extremely intelligent people or whatever we want to call the people who inhabited this planet before us. So who's to say? We can be, I'm a history buff and Earth is 1 million years old, but it's like, how do we I don't know if we can ever be super accurate about that shit. I don't know. It's dope though. It's dope to think that Mother Nature might fuck around and just revitalize all this shit and wipe us out, but at least it'll be okay, you know?
Yeah, it's something.
It's like, how Earth has a way of resetting itself once we more or less fuck it up. But yeah, bro, that's kind of what I was trying to touch on, like my little 1-2 topic or whatever, because it's like, yeah, bro, you see certain things and it's just like, it sparks your fucking mind. You know what I mean? And it just makes you like, let me see what Trent thinks about this shit, because I can't be the only one who's seeing this wild shit and having an opinion on it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. I don't know. To the people listening, like, we be out here just finding these weird random topics, and I hope that, like, because not every time, we're not always trying to be serious and shit. Sometimes we be joking and shit, but it's funny to think that these things are happening, like whether it's the Elon Musk shit or motherfuckers leaning up on you on a train when you're a stranger. All this shit is happening. So it's like however you want to view it, just be safe out here. Whether it's you're trying to stay away from fucking aliens and Neuralinks that can control your brain and and fry your whole shit. Just be careful out here, people. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm just trying to stay safe from this motherfucking plague right now. That's about it.
Yeah, the facts. That omni this and omni that. Just stay away, yo. Stay away from me. Yeah, I can't deal with the bullshit, bro. I can't deal with the bullshit. But yo, Everyone listening, we appreciate you rocking with us, man. You know, it's another episode. My name's Graham.
I'm Trent.
This is Ultra Fly Talk. Peace.